Kaneda!
That's
Tetsuo!
that's the first thing that came into my mind too. Like, yeah. Tetsuo, don't let your guts spill out. Like, that's like my favorite scene where his guts are falling out through the ground, where he's having that first like fucking, I guess schizophrenic break or whatever happens when his guts start falling out. Yeah, I used to have kind of like nightmares about
the
that
memes of that whole like sequence, like whenever it's just something that you see so much online and people are just putting these clips from Akira over it. Akira, doing leave me alone.
I've actually never watched the dub version of that. I've
only seen it in Japanese too.
Me too.
Leave me alone, Akira.
I'm gonna have to watch that again because that's a fucking masterpiece. But yeah, we're back talking about an album from Tetsuo, Secret House Against. You guys know us, Tokyo-based hip hop art and culture conversations. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, consider the Patreon, join us in the Discord if you really want to talk shit. We haven't had anybody in there that fucking sucks. Actually everybody in there is dope, cool. And there's been a lot of dope music shares, a lot of just regular communication about things. Shout out to everybody that's in there right now. And there was a problem with the link before. I said it like it would expire, but it should be working now. So please join up and be a part of that. Today we are going to, Jed and I are discussing an album by Tetsuo called Hydrocig. It is 14 songs, 27 minutes. This is kind of interesting for me because I don't know shit about the artist.
Yeah, it makes two of us.
I don't know anything about Tetsuo. It's period Tetsuo,
yes.
Right? And on top of it, like, all right, that's a dope name, but it's also one that's like around. There's Tetsuo. You search for Tetsuo, you get like Tetsuo from Akira, you get Tetsuo the Iron Man, the old fucking what would that be like? What kind of cult film? Yeah, grindhouse type of film. You get those type of things, right? Especially being in here in Japan, we get fucking Tetsuo that lives down the street when we're trying to find these details.
Even just searching Tetsuo on like music streaming services or Bandcamp, you get the Lupe album.
Yeah. So. And you get other Tetsuos who are making like fucking
EDM or whatever.
Yeah, or like lo-fi beats to fucking chill to type of shit. Yeah. And I've known of this person for a minute, thanks, I believe, to collaborations with other artists who are in this kind of same sphere of like music approach, right? This is underground, independent type of hip hop, whatever you call it, sample-based beats and rapping, creative rapping and shit. And I really have liked this dude or this person, but I don't fucking know anything about it. Yep. I was getting extremely frustrated trying to find out who this person was, but it kind of began to endear itself to me as I considered it more and what was going on with the artist. I just imagine, like, if you're trying to have a successful career where people latch onto your music, the approach that Tetsuo is taking is one that seems counterintuitive to developing a fan base or even selling your wares. Yeah. But I appreciate it.
He's also like, I'm assuming this is an extremely prolific artist, but like even since we agreed to review Hydrocig, like there's 2 other albums that have dropped since. Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was something, he's been selling like on Bandcamp or whatever for a long time, and now they're just dropping on streaming. Yeah. Or if he's just like on a tear right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's put out several albums this year.
Yeah.
And dozens.
And I'm imagining this is the first time that you've been introduced to this artist, right? Yes. I've definitely have heard them, he, her, that person before, but I don't really know when. I just know that it's like I have that as like a following artist type of thing on my DSP, and it came up and I was like, yo, let's try that. But even on this, the album is called Hydrocig, and most of the tracks are featuring Metal Arm and Hydroblane. I'm not sure who those people are or how this album comes together, because Tetsuo is not rhyming on every single one of these tracks, but Tetsuo does rhyme. All the production, I imagine, is from Tetsuo. This album is all the kind of mysteriousness and lack of information that we've accrued. Overall, I really actually like this album a lot, and I actually really like Tetsuo's approach to rap a lot. I walked away from this album kind of feeling it was kind of inspirational to me.
Yeah.
Inspirational in the sense that like this really. It reminded me of a way I haven't really felt in a while when I listen to other artists, right? Usually you listen to other artists, oh, that's dope, man. They're creative. They're in their lane. They make their music. But I really like the kind of off-kilter production and wordplay and cadences that Tetsuo leans into. It comes across as like some of my favorite auto-poesy type of shit.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that it really kind of endeared itself to me. It feels very immediate. It feels very like, here's something, like we made something, let's rap to it, which is the tradition I come from. And it really inspires me. This is one of the few artists that I listen to that I'm like, oh man, if I was there, I got to get on this. Or like, I want to write with this person. I just like the way that they rhyme and the way they do things. And this album kind of, it reminds me of the old DIY days in the kind of early aughts in the late 90s, which is when I was kind of developing and doing my artistic thing, not sonically, but in its layout and execution. There's like, it was frustrating not knowing, like getting a tape and not knowing who the fuck it came from back in the day. Like I remember, you would link with folks and then like never see them again, but you'd have like their CDR or an actual tape and just be like, yo, this is some of the dopest shit that I've ever heard. The first time I visited San Jose as like a hip hop human, like maybe I was like 15 or 16, and I flew out to San Jose to visit my sister. In the mall, people be like, "Yo, are you a b-boy? Like, obviously you're a hip hop human being, right?"
Yeah.
And so I met this fool from Chaotic Souls, who is like an underground independent thing. He gave me the CD. I'm not exactly sure who it was in the crew that I met at the time, but they gave me the CD. I bumped it, and I wouldn't even be able to figure out who that crew was or anything until I moved back to the Bay like 3-4 years later, and then heard about them through other people that were in the Bay. And this is what I get from that. And I guess Tetsuo is also from San Francisco, so I like just that mysterious aspect of it, and it feels very fucking grassroots hip hop to me. And that's before I even get to the parts of like the execution why I feel is dope. I like this. It's the rhyming is not like on some super technical complex shit. Yep. The beats are not on some like super technical complex shit or high level musicality. It's just like good rapping. Good is subjective, obviously, but I like the writing approach that they have, and I like the production approach they have. This album fucking has a song that I really love. I must have listened to that shit like 50 times.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm more or less with you all the way. The immediacy of it is great. The production and the variety of styles on here is great. Like, when the album first kicks off on Metro, on Business, and then 9 Lives, None Left, featuring... it's Lungs. Yeah, of course it's Lungs. Because immediately I was like, oh, yo, this shit sounds like the Feek and Lungs.
Right. It's a part of that kind of, sphere.
Another World 4.
Yeah.
And, of course, it is Lungs. And I mean, I love that style with the sort of laid back or minimal kind of production, kind of melodic, and then just the MC absolutely flying over it.
And it's like 2 minutes.
Times.
You know what I mean?
2 minutes, yeah.
This is a really short listen, and it's just like all the songs are just like boom, done, boom, done. And there's a lot of tracks on here like that Lungs joint, that Lone Sword joint, that it's like he rhymes, nobody else rhymes, and then it's done. And then it's like they've got Sandcastles like that. Yin the Hermit's on here with another track that's like that. J Bell. And there are other tracks with like multiple MCs, but like The Prism is another one. Most of these songs are just like one MC that is a part of their crew or whatever, and then it's out. And it's got a really dope, rich variety, and it's good for that reason, man.
Yeah, it's it's difficult to kind of even talk about in a way, just because I mean it does offer a very large variety sonically, and at the same time, like you said, it has this immediacy. It kind of feels thrown together, and I don't really mean that in a negative way so much as like,
yo, we've got all this shit. Let's put
this together.
Let's put it together. Yeah.
Even the album cover is just like a picture that they've got off the internet. Like this is like Obvious Plant who does these kind of fake action figures and stuff like that. It fools a lot of my more conservative friends every now and then, because it will just be like pregnancy man.
Word.
The pregnant man superhero. And then people were like, this is what they're trying to turn your children into. But yeah, this is just like an obvious plant picture. I don't know if they got permission or whatever. Like,
there's like some editing on it that has like the name like Hydrocig and then the thing. So they did some edit. It says, Metal Arm, Hydroblane. I was thinking maybe Hydroblane is Tetsuo. Maybe that's like another moniker.
Because he has, or they have an EP called Hydroblane.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Which is by Tetsuo. So I'm assuming it's the same person. Maybe it's the rapping, the rapper persona of the artist.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm not sure about any of that, but a lot of the things that really endear me to this also are not only just the kind of approach and layout, but a lot of the content of the lyrics appeals to me in a way. Like I don't take it all that seriously, because a lot of the things are not, they're less towards a lot of the antisocial messages that you'll get from a more mainstream rap about like bitches and hoes, or even like, I don't know, smoking weed all day. But there are those kind of like goon maneuvers and just like regular dude living, and also learning and reading and being into these kind of separate pockets of knowledge and information. You go, I mean, there's so many,
very nicely to the overall vibe of the record.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds like a bunch of friends like talking shit.
Yeah, like you get into that song, like song number 6, Rabbit Holes, which features the MC Yin the Hermit. It's super short verse from him, less than a minute, but it's about kind of like psychedelics and finding those rabbit holes. He's talking about being like a psychonaut, which is like a person who, interested in, it's kind of along the lines of that, your Terrence McKenna, Timothy Leary type of, consciousness expanding type of lyrics on that. And there's a lot of parts of this that lean into these separate pockets. On Sun and Still Anarchy, there is a media sample that they use, and I was like listening to it, I had it like on the tip of my tongue. I was like, who is this? And then like I woke up one morning, I was like, oh, it's fucking Bukowski. Like, that's Bukowski's voice. I just couldn't put it together. I was like, who is that? I couldn't really. At first I thought it was like one of these kind of like, Alan Watts type of, deep thinker type of persons. But yeah, it's Bukowski. And I think that kind of that energy that is like Bukowski-esque and very like San Francisco poesy leaning also are something that are part of, I think, Tetsuo's approach to rapping, which I really like. His rhymes to me are super dope in the way that his voice sounds and the way that he stacks lyrics. And I just kind of, that auto poesy part of it, where it's like, on that same interview with Bukowski where he's talking about death, it is very apt to me, because in that same interview, you can Google it. If you type in Bukowski interview death, that's the one that they pulled from. I'm not trying to get, I don't think you get copyright struck from that type of shit, right? But he talks about like, yeah, so many fucking writers are boring as shit. Like when you write, you want it to explode in different, intervals. And I like that about fucking Tetsuo's rhymes. Every single verse that he's got on here, it feels like, oh, this is my homie who's really dope at rhyming. And to me, he's not that homie that's like, damn, he's prim rock level, or he's, he's really meticulous at crafting. It's just like, oh, the way he gets off of the head inspires me to want to write and allow myself to be creative for creativity's sake. And
even
not
like invokes, talking to you and Sano last week, I just couldn't help but feel like, culture jamming, writing, 'cause it's all styling, right? Yeah. It's all like expressive. It has this kind of freehand feeling to it. It's not meticulous. It's not detailed, but at the same time, it's like incredibly skillful. And it's beautiful as well.
The importance of immediacy is fucking play. Yes. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about this. There's something inherently dope about this. And I'm projecting a lot into the fact that I can't find shit about this guy. But if that's intentional and he's just like, fuck it, I'm just making music, like I don't care about the fan base, I think that's kind of fucking ill too. Yeah. And while it's frustrating for me as a person that's interested, like I do have a point of access to find him. I think I found what I think is his SoundCloud page, perhaps not a Bandcamp, but a SoundCloud page, and I found he's got a Spotify. Yeah. So there is a point of like contact and just being able to grab it. But if he's really just like this is a step further than Billy Wood's Blurred Face. This is a step further than the MF Doom mask. This is really just like, what up, bro?
Just a guy,
yeah. I fucking
some
like
guy
it.
from the Bay.
I like it, and I feel as though like well, let me pull it up. So one of these verses I just really fuck with, and it might end up being one of my favorite songs of the year. Confession du Masque. Is that like a French pronunciation?
Confession d'un Masque. Yeah.
Okay, and that's like a reference to something too, but like this just kind of like bossa nova, tropicalismo,
calypso.
Yeah.
Twist of a knife, elemental combination, now balance is all in your head, nuance, cosmic confidant, subside sinker on the line, neon ruin, spoiler alert, incidental, I'm hurt on the other side of the dirt. Field of doubt sounds big as Peter Crouch. Phantom shards play for keeps. Word on the street. We lost niggas, the fourth wing. Practical reason. Bobby boxing while he's still breathing. Offer me a new box.
He's dope. Like fucking, it's all in your head. Nuance, cosmic confidants. Yeah, he's fucking dope. Like. Phantom shards play for keeps. Word on the streets, you lost niggas. Like it's something that I really always appreciated about like the Project Bloodians. It's something that I always really appreciate about like the Anticon cats. It's something that I always really appreciate about like this whole Canadian scene of guys who are doing things. It's something that I've always appreciated about graffiti. Like it was a like renewable resource. This creativity was so overflowing that they just offered it up at any given time. And there's so much content coming out of this, dude. To me, it feels like fucking you meet the graffiti homies and they give you 1,000 stickers. They give you the art because it's just a renewable creative resource that always is going, and it's from this center of play. I just fucking I'm really projecting into what's going on here, but I get that kind of connection with it, and that's why I walked away from this album being like, hell yeah, I like, this is not some shit that people are going to listen to and be like, this is the best rapper or this is the best beat. It's just some shit to me that's just like, you know what hip hop sounds like to me? You don't get any more fucking like participatory culture than really here. You know what I mean?
Honestly, you know, while we're projecting onto this person we don't know, apologies. It kind of reminds me like of a lot of the dope cats I meet out here, because it's a little bit weeby.
Yeah,
you know, there's Evangelion references on here. This guy's named himself after an Akira character. Confessions of a Mask. That's it's Mishima.
Yeah,
like it's, you know, there's that little bit of, you know, Japanese culture infusion in there as well.
There are pop cultural type of things here. I mean, there's a
stuff.
song called "Android's Dream of Electric Sleep."
Right.
Philip K. Dick and shit. Yeah. It does. Well, that's kind of like one of the dope things about it, right? It's just like the homies that are actually putting in the work and being creative in a part of your community is like, they also all have that just part, like, here goes some fucking art shit, and I like it, man. Like, it's
not anime rap either.
Yeah, I fuck with this. Like, I fuck with this in the same way I kind of fuck with that Mary Sue album.
Yes,
like,
100%. That was exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, they're just, it's just, you know, there's a
cat
lot
came out
of
of nowhere and he's fucking dope.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really incredibly talented cats out there, and this does remind me of the heyday where you just get a tape and it's just like, I don't know who fucking Optimus Rhymes and Jedi Knight Circle is, but go off, homie. Fucking, you know, shapeshifter shit. It's just like, hey, just throw this shit out because we're dope at everything we do, even if you don't think it hits. Like, some of this shit hits. Like, I don't know. What do you got for like your favorite tracks on this?
Favorite tracks on the album: 9 Lives, None Left, featuring Lungs, Lone Sword.
Yeah.
Maybe Sun and Steel Anarchy, and I'm gonna go with the last track on the album, Battery Powered Flying Saucers.
Also fire. Yeah.
Fruit of the Tomb as well. That little sample, the little Doom. Like, that was definitely the kind of thing I was like, yeah, if Doom was still alive, he'd probably rap over this.
Yeah. There's even some experimental approaches on this, like Sandcastle Asylum, which is like, it could go right there next to like Skyscraper Prison, or you know, fucking Grimy Squadron Build a Garden. We could build like a map of just dope hip hop places with song titles this year. But yeah, that's really good. Miles Jamal, 0 drums on that track. It almost comes across spoken word. It's just like, handle it, put it on. Like, lots of, I should say, we also have Doof on here, who is pretty well known. Shane Arnold. There's a cat named Austin Fox, Kanji. Is
Kitsune.
that okay? Okay, that makes sense, right?
Fox, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no shit. Okay, let's see what else. I wanted to shout out some of the people on this. Metal Arm, Hydroblane, obviously, Ridgy, but my favorites on this album are definitely Confession. What is it? Dumasque.
Oh yeah, Confessional Damask. Yeah.
Okay, and then I like that. I also like Rabbit Holes, Sun and Still Anarchy, and Battery Powered Flying Saucer. It's good shit. I would recommend this to people that are fans of like a Bukowski, like the Last Night on Earth poems, or if you're into poetry, if you're into Cities of Eve, I would recommend this to you. If you're into early Shapeshifters crew type of shit, you know, Circus, Jism, all of those Shapeshifter cats who are just putting shit out, Existerio, Why Knows, Vito Barata, all those old cats that were putting it down, and the Mary Sue fans, I guess.
For sure,
like,
yeah. Maybe like the Overcast as well.
The Dino Spectrum type of shit, yeah.
Like fucking even like Big Juss. Like some of the
Okay,
rapping on there sounds like Big Juss.
Yeah.
I think people who enjoy this channel, you know, all of our subscribers are going to be into this one, and it's probably not something they're familiar with because I certainly had never heard of this artist before. And Tetsuo, yeah, if you're watching this, like clock in. Sushi's on us whenever you're in Tokyo.
I just want to know, like, what do you do? Like, who is who? Like, who is Metal Arm? Or, like, who are these people? Like, you know what I mean? Make the distinction. Like, when you got posse cuts and there's like 6 people on the joint, it's like, say your name in your verse so I'm able to be like, all right, this is Opio, this is Festo, and yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, I highly, support independent underground hip hop music. Stay radical. Read your literature, culture jam. Go ahead and wheat paste and maybe put some cement in the Walmart bathroom toilets. So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, figure it out, man. It's a secret house. This is longer than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. Shouts out to Tetsuo. Shouts out to our Patreons who are on the screen right now. I've already been on the screen.
Yo, that also, you know, this Ode to Mortality, this the Read This When I'm Gone that just dropped on October 3rd after this.
Yeah.
That shit is dope too. Like
What?
Like, and he raps on that. So like I'm a fan of the rapping.
I did listen a little bit to I think it's meant to be Fourth World, but it's misspelled on Apple Music as Footh World. Used for world domination or crotcheting, featuring Kobayani.
Okay.
Yeah, I listened to some of that. I didn't listen to all of it. I started listening to it because I was like, "Oh, you want to listen to the latest Tetsuo?" And then, he's very prolific like that.
Yeah, this single just dropped on like the 3rd, so it's like, hey, shout out, stay prolific,
Keep them coming.
Secret House.
Secret House.
Never seen virus before, saddle say key cadaver. Dogs from market borders, one punching label. Breaking rules, pants, planet, holy smokes, cheeks, rosy.
I like his voice. Something about it just like works for me, all right.